Welcome to another episode of the Grappling with Life podcast. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest. He's a legend. I've heard his name like whispered in hallways and corridors. MashaAllah, his brother Usamah, Louison. Welcome.
Thank you.
Should I call you Sifu?
No, call me Sifu. It's a reason why I'll explain later on.
Oh, okay, good.
Call me Sifu.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So, brother Usamah, Jazakallah khairan for coming. I know you're about to travel in a week. I know we had a very small window to get you in, so I'm very happy that you're here today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Barakallahu fiqh. I guess we can just start from the beginning. I want to start with a question first. Kind of, we spoke about it just before we started shooting.
Yeah.
Most guys that have come on here that are doing jiu-jitsu or whatever have done some sort of Wing Chun. That's what you teach, right?
I teach Wing Chun, yes.
Right. And they've all been taught by someone from the West Indies. So, like, I've never got the answer, but I'm guessing you might give me, you might be able to be qualified to give me an answer. Why? What was special about the art that appealed to?
Okay, special art to me. I was taught by Chinese,
right?
So when I was very young, I liked to watch a lot of martial art movies. One of them programs called David Carradine, Kung Fu.
Yes.
So I got interested by watching that. I liked the philosophy, I liked the martial arts. And then one day I saw a friend of mine doing martial arts. No idea what style he was practicing, but I seen him mucking around playing, and this was a black guy.
Okay. And
in the youth club, and he was controlling someone quite easy. Yeah, so I said to myself, whoa, I like to do that too, control someone with ease. At that time, you're young, I'm about 15, 16.
So was it like the 80s, late 80s?
Yeah, late 80s, yeah,
right,
yeah. About 16, going to youth clubs. And when we were all young, we would get in trouble, we like to fight. And I like to fight a lot for enjoyment,
Yeah.
So it's quite interesting for me. So when I started to fight a lot, play fights, I got in a bit of the trouble, not bad trouble, but just like, hitting people for play, for fun.
Yeah.
And I liked it, in fact.
Overzealous.
Yeah. And then I started watching, like I said, David Carradine, and I looked at the philosophy of things like that and how they practice spirituality and things like that.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, let me learn some martial arts, go and learn some martial arts. So in that time, in the 80s, I went to up Chinatown, in Leicester Square.
Right.
And I saw a poster of some teachers teaching martial arts. Oh, before that, I saw a poster in Southeast London, Orpington.
Orpington?
Yes.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was going to college, doing designing in college. But I saw a poster, and the guy was teaching martial arts. I remember the style, Tonglong, it means like praying mantis.
Right.
And but I only did that for 6 months.
So were you brought up in South London?
I was born in South East London.
Whereabouts in South East?
I was brought up in Deptford.
Oh, Deptford. Yeah.
I was born in Greenwich.
Okay.
Then we moved to Deptford, and later on we moved to Louison.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So and South East London is quite rough at that time.
Yeah, definitely.
And at that time, like now you get on to the black people. Most of the time, we all love martial art movies, black films, martial art films. Yeah. And going to late night. Do you remember late night at all?
What's that?
Late night is like you go and watch a movie from 12 o'clock till 3 o'clock. We call it late night movies.
Interesting.
When they show pure martial arts films.
So that missed me, man.
Yeah.
I was. At that time, so what kind of films you're looking at? Was it more like do you remember the blaxploitation films, like with? No. This is pure kung fu.
Pure kung fu films.
So like Drunken Master.
That's it.
Police Story.
Well,
that was quite later.
That's quite later.
Yeah.
This is like a film called like Prodigal Son.
Oh yes.
Franchi and Mantis.
Yeah.
Magnificent Butcher. This is an old school way of fighting.
Yes.
Yes. And Iron Monkey. People will start to remember all these movies when I name them. Back in the 80s.
So you'd go at 12 o'clock
at midnight,
and literally you'd watch how many films?
There's 2 films. The first show would be about 11:15.
Yeah.
And that will finish about 1, just after 1. And the next one will be just up half past 1. It finishes about 3 o'clock.
So that's Friday night?
That was Friday night or sometimes Saturdays.
Saturday night.
Yes.
That's sick, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that time, a lot of black people would go to late night. And now you find now why a lot of black people love country so much, because they watched it. And also they want to also study it, you know. So at that time in the 80s, a lot of black people started doing martial arts.
Yeah.
And learn from different teachers. A lot of them, at that time in the 80s, a lot of Chinese teachers was around. So therefore we went and learned from many Chinese teachers.
Interesting.
You know.
That is, because I spoke to, who's it, Jude, who's also, he's from Grenada as well. So he was talking about like, because there was, like, if you went earlier, like the 60s, the Chinese weren't really teaching foreigners.
Not at all.
At all. It was actually frowned upon.
Yes.
And then Bruce Lee came on the scene. And that's when, and he actually was one of the first guys to teach non-Chinese people, right? One of the few.
One of the few. Yeah.
And there was another guy who Mr. Miyagi was based on. I forgot his name, but he was more karate.
Yeah, he's more Japanese.
Japanese, right? Yeah, that's correct. Yes. But again, it was like that movement. Now it kind of gripped the martial arts. Kind of gripped the world, right?
Yes, exactly.
60s, 70s, especially 70s, right?
Yes.
And then the 80s, you had the rise of Jackie Chan and the second wave, innit? The Hong Kong films that would come over here.
That's right. And in the 80s, I met Jackie Chan.
Oh, you did, yeah?
I met Jackie Chan on the film set, Project A.
Wow.
Because and when I was 86, I went to Hong Kong to live for just under 1 year to practice martial arts.
What was that like, man?
That was an experience. And at that time, this is like 30, 35 years ago.
Yeah.
And at that time, there's not many black peoples in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So, for experience, when I went to Hong Kong, you have to overcome people staring at you, okay? And look at you really weird and things like that. But I love martial arts so much at a young age. I learned from a teacher, his name is Sybil Nina Bernardo. He gave me a little introduction to learn from his older kung fu brother, which is Sybil Chung Hong. And
they're both Chinese?
Both Chinese.
Yeah.
And Sybil Chung Hong, he lives in Hong Kong. He's a famous student of Sybil Wong Shulong. And Sybil Wong Shulong, right, is a famous teacher. He learned from Yip Man.
Right.
So my lineage is quite strong to all the strong people when I learned martial art at a very young age.
MashaAllah, that was awesome, bro.
So
in that year,
yes,
talk us through. That's for me, because all I'm thinking about is you're in some kind of martial arts school.
Yes.
You're getting challenged by other martial arts schools. But obviously that's films. But if you just give us a little insight what that year was like for training. Was it just training? You were just going there for training?
Just for training.
So talk us through what was that was like in that year.
When I arrived in Hong Kong, I stayed with a friend of mine, and he was French, and I stayed with him for about 2 months, 3 months. Then I stayed with another friend, he's Chinese, and I stayed with him about 6 months. And at the same time, I was learning from two famous teachers, Sybil Chung Hong and Sybil Wong Shulong. Sybil Wong Shulong passed away many, many years ago, but Sybil Chung Hong is still alive today in Hong Kong. And when you go to Hong Kong, they look at you as a foreigner, first of all.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not white, I'm black, So when I had a letter of introduction to go to see these two teachers, and that's when I started to learn my Wing Chun. And I didn't know at the time, Wing Chun was really famous. I didn't know nothing about Bruce Lee. I knew nothing about Bruce Lee really as such at that young age. All I wanted to do was learn martial arts.
So how old were you?
And that time I was 22 when I went to Hong Kong, And then I came back from Hong Kong when I was 23, and I went back and forwards to Hong Kong to improve my levels in my martial arts. And then also at the same time, I learned some Chinese, because obviously living in Hong Kong, I have to eat, I have to get around, and you have to learn, decide to learn some Chinese to get around.
Cantonese or Mandarin?
Cantonese.
Because Hong Kong, right?
Yeah, Hong Kong at that time. Mostly people speaking Cantonese at that time. And but my teacher, Sybil Chung Hong, he spoke some English. Not bad English, spoke some English. So it was good. But most of the guys, some spoke English, some of the guys didn't speak English. But so I had a good time studying.
So what was the training like? So like talk us through like a typical day. What was it different every day? Or?
It wasn't really different every day. It was mostly technical. You go inside the school, you do your forms, the teacher will assess you, you start to practice with your upper classmates, and practice techniques and things like that.
And how long would you train for?
We were training for about 2 hours. And I was trained, in fact, about 5 times a week.
Right.
I was trained in the afternoon, twice in the afternoon, and also in the evenings.
Right.
Because I went there Pacific to
So
do
2 hours in the afternoon, 2 hours in the evening.
evening sometimes. So I went there Pacific just to do martial art. That's it, nothing else. And at the same time, I've run out of money.
Right. I was going to say, how did you fund it?
Yeah. I was running out of money. It was costly to learn from these teachers.
Yeah.
And I was running out of money after 4 months. I said, what am I going to do? But my profession is painting, decorating, designing.
Right.
So someone asked me, oh, can you come and do some houses for us? Decorate some houses and stylish, something like that. I said, yeah. And I start to work. Then after other clients ask me to come do jobs for them. Right. And I start to work for myself. Now I had some money now. I can stay in Hong Kong a bit longer. And that's how I stayed in Hong Kong for that. Just under a year. Wow. Yeah.
MashaAllah. So before you went to Hong Kong, how long were you training Kung Fu, Wing Chun?
Before I went to Hong Kong, I was trained with my teacher for at least about 4 years. Okay. Before I went to Hong Kong.
So he had to actually write
a letter of
recommendation.
Yeah. At that time, you really can't go to see any teacher unless you get a letter of recommendation to go and see a teacher, or they won't receive you. Right. And remember, the Chinese don't really teach foreigners. Yeah. Yeah.
So what was going on at that time that it started to change? What happened? How comes they made an exception for yourself, or was it depending on who's teaching?
Well, because I had a Wong Shilong, when he's been to London before and I've seen him before, and because I had a letter of introduction, it was much easier for me. Right. So I just went to Hong Kong, stayed there, train, and when I first got there, they test you to see your abilities, and they give you a hard time. Yeah, I mean, like fighting you and everything like that. Yeah. They find I wasn't a threat, so they didn't give me a hard time. Right. Yeah.
So what was a threat? What does that mean?
Okay, the threat means that they will test you, they will fight you to see your ability.
So if you're really good, they won't teach you. Is that what not?
If you're big in that, they might not teach you.
Right.
If they find they will test you, they will get someone who has practiced for a very long time to test you, so they don't lose face. Right. When they're practicing, they're into really face.
So obviously you wouldn't even go. Like, even if you could, just out of respect, you wouldn't go too much. Is that what?
No, I wouldn't go too much because you go in someone's house.
House, yeah.
So you have to be respectful. But a most important thing, I wasn't going to get beaten up, neither. Yes. But I didn't go there for that intention to fight anybody. I went there to improve my martial arts, and that's it really. And they like me. The teacher liked me. We get on. We go to eat. Taught me about history. Martial art history, Chinese, and then that's when my training started to progress.
So before we move on, I just wanted to because this intrigues me, man. What was, when you went to Hong Kong, what was the biggest culture shock you found when you got there?
The culture shock, it's not as such a culture shock, it was just like
the change.
It's like, from London, you live in London.
Yeah.
Okay. And certain areas, it's like white areas, pure Caucasian. So you're National Front at that time. Yeah. So you got used to people shout at you and things like that, call you names, things like that. Yeah. It was the same thing in Hong Kong, just in Chinese. So if you don't understand what you're saying, have you got a clue? But you know they're talking about you. Yeah. Example, they call the black people Hagwai. Okay. It means like black devil.
Wow.
Yes.
I know what gwlpodcast means.
Gwlpodcast means white devil. White devil, yes.
Would I be a gwlpodast over there?
You'd be a gwlpodast.
That's deep.
Yeah. And it's just a natural thing they say. They say gwlpodast, go there. Like, white boy, come over here. Yeah. Yeah. So I decided to learn some language, learn some little bit of Chinese, because I want to understand what they're saying and calling me. So they call me Hagwai, a black devil. I'll call them Wangwai. Means yellow devil. Yeah. And
what would happen when you kind of
they're shocked. They're shocked because obviously I know some little Chinese.
Yes, yes.
There was a time, my friend and I went to a restaurant, and you ever been in a Chinese restaurant, very noisy?
Yeah, yeah.
And all the cutlery and everything and things like that. And I walked with my friend.
This is in Hong Kong.
In Hong Kong. Yeah. And the whole restaurant went quiet, and they all looked at me like this. Yeah, looking look like this, you know. So, and then I remember my friend, he's a French guy.
Yeah.
So he said, he knows Chinese very well, he lives in Hong Kong. So he comes down and said, Mike, sit down. And then sit me means what you want to eat. You know, so we're speaking this in little Chinese that I know. You know, and afterwards I said anything, and people heard that I can speak to them Chinese.
Right.
And afterwards the noise went back to normal again. Everyone's like sitting down and talking, and then they say, they come up to you and say, "Oh, sit gong gong ma, yeah, sit gong xiu xiu ma." I then speak a little bit, you know.
Right.
And they say, "Oh, where you from?" You know, I say I'm from England. So when you in Hong Kong, you speak some Chinese. It's a new thing because of not many black people in Hong Kong at that time, 35 years ago. You know,
also internet didn't exist as well.
Internet didn't exist.
So the sharing of information was very limited to kind of TV, newspapers and stuff. Yeah.
Even the situation with one of my Chinese friends with one day, and we went to dry cleaners. So him and I stepped into the dry cleaners, and the woman behind the counter went backwards behind the counter and ran.
She ran?
Yeah, behind the counter.
Okay, right.
She'd never seen that guy before.
Wow.
So she said to my friend, "Oh, these black people eat people."
Whoa.
So I said to my friend, no, I'm okay. We don't eat people. I said, what TV have you been watching? What news have you been? So they're behind. They're not really, you know, at that time, 35 years ago, they're behind.
Yeah,
you know.
Definitely. Because like I said, like with internet, you have some, even though you're probably still going to get a little bit of, but at least with sharing of information, it's less so. It's like a global village now.
Yes.
Have you been back since then?
Yes, I was
what's the most recent time you've gone back?
I was in Hong Kong about 7 years ago.
So talk to me about the difference between when you went in the 80s and...
the 80s was beautiful because the 80s that time, it was British colony.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
okay, so you had many things happening, a lot of clubs, lots of things happening, lots of movies, lots of street market, lot of food market. When I went back 7 years ago, completely different because now it's run by China.
That's right. Yeah.
So a lot of the shops are closed down, a lot of control, not so many things.
Oh, serious?
Yes. Not so much martial arts now because now everything's on the computer, internet. But that in the 80s, you know, like DVDs and CDs at that time was rife in Hong Kong. All the movies you want, you can get. You know, so in the 80s, I had to buy all my movies in Hong Kong, come back, you know, and give to my friends, things like that. And then, like I said, I met Jackie Chan.
So did you meet him 7 years ago, or was it in the 80s?
I met in the 80s.
So when Jackie Chan was Jackie Chan,
Jackie Chan, Even, my friend was interviewing him.
He was interviewing him?
My friend was interviewing him in Hong Kong.
Right.
So my friend said, come along. And we was on the beach. So Jackie Chan was telling him about trying to get into American market, and he done Big Brawl, and he wasn't happy with it, and he wanted to bring his own team to sort of do his stunts. And so he wasn't really happy with the American market at that time. But he's trying, you know.
It's before Rush Hour, isn't it?
That's before Rush Hour. Long before Rush Hour.
Long before. Was that his first kind of proper English speaking role in
Big Brawl?
Was it Big Brawl, right?
Big Brawl, yes.
Okay, I don't think I've seen that one, man.
Big Brawl. That's his first one.
Big Brawl.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch that one. Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then at the same time, when I was in Hong Kong, some of my friends said, "No, do some movies. Go and do some extra work on the film set." Yeah. So I said, "Okay, you get some extra money, things like that." So I was in a movie called The Good, the Bad, and the Beautiful, something like that. I was playing the villain.
Right.
Yeah. So they killed me off.
How soon did they kill you off?
I did a couple of scenes, beat someone up, things like that, and then they shot me. You know.
And this is available, yeah.
It's an old film. It's really hard to find.
I'm going to try and find it.
Really hard to find.
Okay.
And I'm in.
Let me write this down. Right?
I think it's called the Good, the Bad, and the Beautiful, or The Good, the Ugly, and the Beautiful, something like that. Okay. It's a film by Frankie Chan.
Frankie Chan. Yeah. Is that his brother?
No, Frankie Chan is a famous a
producer,
martial director. If you know, people know this film called Prodigal Son.
Yeah, Prodigal Son. Yeah.
Okay, see the guy with the rings fighting?
Yes,
that's Frankie Chan.
Oh, okay. The Good, the Bad. I'm gonna just double check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that is Frankie Chan, and that is really fun. And the time on the film, Frankie Chan asked me, like, doing a film on his set, and there was another French guy, black guy, on the set too. But there was a sort of like abusing him, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Me?
Was he a martial artist?
The French guy was a martial artist,
he wasn't.
but I was.
Right.
You know, so when they asked me certain things like kicking and punching, I did just a little bit. And one day, you know, they're doing their martial arts, things like that on the set. And there's Prodigal Son and Warriors 2, two famous Wing Chun films.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Frankie Chan is in Prodigal Son.
Right.
So he started to show me some of the movements. Don't know that I know Wing Chun.
Right.
So we clashed for about a minute, 30 seconds, and I locked him. And I said to him, this is not the movie, this is a real thing. And he laughed. Since that day, he was funny. He said, "Oh, you're funny. You know, I'm gonna get you another movie as a comedian." You know, so it's quite funny because obviously, I wasn't gonna let no one abuse me or take liberty with me, regardless. You know, so I said, "No, I'm not an ordinary person. I'm from Southeast, and I'm not going to take no rubbish from you."
Did you tell him where Southeast London's from? Did you show me a picture, man? Or bring him down, didn't it?
Or bring him down.
Bring him down to Louison, man.
Yeah. So I had a good time in Hong Kong. When I was there.
So can you just talk us a bit? Those guys that don't understand, I did Wing Chun for about 1 week.
Yes.
When I was about 11. No. About 7, 8. I was at a cousin's house.
Mm.
They lived in Barnet somewhere, and he does Wing Chun. So he said, "Come." And I did it for 1 week, and I just thought I was the baddest guy.
Okay.
After that, you go back home, like you just show all your friends.
Yeah.
And I kind of got like, and then my dad got me into. Do you remember Blockbusters?
Blockbusters, yes.
Every Friday night he'd go and get like a kung fu film. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he was really like an inspiration to kind of get me started on my martial arts journey.
Mm.
So like, if you just explain to everyone like what is the structure of Wing Chun, and is there gradings? Like, obviously, like everyone's got this kind of thing of karate belts and all that stuff. So if you just give us an
okay, I learned the old way, the old way, Chinese way. That means they grade you by your ability. They literally will spar with you, teaching some techniques and say, "Show me that, you can do this and you can do that." Yeah, so you be tested.
Right.
The Western way is like it's a marketable way to give you a certificate, give you a belt. That's more like Japanese.
Right.
Okay, but in Japanese, the black belt is a beginner's belt.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the West, the black belt is quite high, and second dan and third dan, etc.
Yeah.
So
that's in Wing Chun or
in karate.
Okay.
But in Wing Chun, they have belts now. They introduced belts.
Like sashes, right?
Sashes.
Yeah,
this is from a Western point of view. The old way, there's no belts.
Right.
Okay. When you have belts in martial art film, that's for clothing, for decoration.
Right.
But if you have it on the right hand side or left hand side, it means something. And you have it in the middle, it means something. You're top master.
Right.
Yeah. So some the old school people who do martial arts and know the Chinese history, they will know that, oh, this guy's got his belt in the center. That means he's an old master, very famous. Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Did you and is there weapons training in Wing Chun?
There's weapon trains in Wing Chun. There's a pole form, and there's a bat jam do, eight chopping knives form.
A what? Sorry.
Bat jam do means 8 chopping knife.
8 chopping
knife.
Chopping knife.
Yes.
So what is that?
A butterfly knife. Have you seen a butterfly knife? Is quite a big knife.
Yeah. Is it bend like that?
No, this goes like that, and it's got a little bend at the end. Like
yeah.
That's it. That's a butterfly knife. So,
right. And it's got a handle. Is it a long handle?
And it's got a short handle.
Short handle. Right.
It's a Wing Chun weapon.
Right.
You know, and you got a long pole.
Yeah.
You practice, and you got a wooden dummy. Everyone knows a wooden dummy in Wing Chun.
Yeah.
Now, the structure of Wing Chun, the way I teach,
I
teach like by levels, by your ability, what you can do. Okay, I don't say that after 6 months you're this grade.
Right.
After 1 year that grade. No, I teach you by your ability. So I say you learn a technique, and it might take you 2 weeks, but the other person it takes him 2 days.
Right.
So you go by your ability, not by 1 month, 2 months, and 3 months, because it might progress your learning. Because why stop you to learn something where you know you can learn it faster?
Yeah.
So we go by your ability. That's where I teach. But sometimes people have grades. Grades is to give you some incentive that you won something, or a trophy or a certificate, like in competition. You know, my Wing Chun's not competition at all.
Right.
Yeah. So when you go in competition mode, you go in the cup, you win, get certificate. You might feel good in yourself. Even do a grade, and you have a grade, but doesn't mean you can do it.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I'll do the old way. I will test you. So I'll taught you something, show it to me, you can do it.
So, say for example, a guy comes in the first day.
Yes.
Yeah. Does everyone fall into have you got like a circular curriculum where you're studying specific forms and moves and you kind of do them? Oh, you split your class. I'm guessing you split your class up, or how does that?
Well, my class worked like beginners, intermediate, and advanced, all in the same class.
Right. Okay.
So if you first thing when you start, you learn the alphabet, which is the form, the see and tell form, the little idea.
Yeah.
We call it little idea form. You learn the form is like an alphabet.
Right.
And without an alphabet, you can't start at all.
So that will give you all your basic.
No, this is a form. This is an alphabet.
Right.
Yeah. So when you learn, if you do it like a kata, any forms you do, you will learn in any martial arts.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can use it.
Right, I got you, yeah.
Yeah? You just learn a form.
It's the building blocks
yes.
of what you need later on.
Yes.
Right, to form the sentences and the paragraphs.
That's it. Without an alphabet, without an alphabet, you can't go on, can you?
Of course, yeah.
So English alphabet, any nationality or language, need the alphabet before you start. That's
before grammar, before
anything. Yes.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
So you'd learn that.
Yes.
And again, you're saying people learning at different speeds, different.
Yes.
Someone might learn it in a week, someone might learn it in a day, whatever it is. Then obviously, I'm guessing you kind of take them. So once you've learned the alphabet, what's it called? The simple.
Seal lim tao. Seal
lim tao
form. Yes.
Okay. So once you've learned that,
yes.
What happens next?
Now the form is breakdown in pieces. We tell you how to use individual letter, like like an arm or a leg or the elbow, bit by bit.
Right. So that's the sentence.
That's the words. Then the words there. Yeah. You understand that. Then you see the words there. Yeah. And then from there, you mix the words like to make like a paragraph or to make a book. Write a book.
Interesting.
So and then the idea is you have physical training and you have mentally training.
Right. Now
I do mostly technical training, which is also a lot mentally.
Right.
So I don't do training like you got to be fit. You know, I do pure techniques.
Right.
That's it. Yeah. But if you're fit at the same time, it's okay. But you're not fit, doesn't really matter because you're doing pure technique. So you might be stronger than me in power, but I'm more technical than you.
Right.
Yes. And also when you learn martial arts, the way I teach, you might be like a really technical, but you come from an office person, never fought before in life.
Yes.
Shy, never punts, never had the punch to come towards you. So now I've got to teach you courage and teach you confidence at the same time and teach you understanding. See, martial art, you just don't learn martial just like that. Yeah. You go to school, there's a structure of learning something. Yeah. So most of the time, people see the end product, but never see the beginning. Yeah, it's like example, you cook a nice meal. The meal was lovely, but the preparation before that, going to the shops, buy the food, and and prepare the food.
Yeah.
Yes. And after preparation is finished, you got to clean up afterwards. You don't see that. All you see is the middle bit.
That's right.
The food, but the presentation. You didn't see before that, and you never see the end. You just saw the middle bit. So when you see a demonstration, it's a demonstration. Doesn't mean it's real. It's a demonstration. I'm demonstrating what I can do, but doesn't mean it works. So what I'll do, I'll test you to see, can you do it by yourself?
Right.
Yeah. You see the difference now?
Yeah, I got you.
But all schools are different when they teach martial arts.
So another question I was going to ask you was, what's your take on MMA and other arts in it? Because you've been dedicating your life to Wing Chun.
Yes.
And if anything, to be honest with you, without that, you wouldn't have MMA. Does that make sense? It's kind of like, it's literally like the grandfather or the great grandfather of what they're. But if you look at the essence of it, fighting.
Okay.
Because a lot of the pioneers of MMA and all this, their roots are in traditional martial arts, whether it's, Wing Chun. Yeah. You look at, what's his name? DeSanto? Chuck Norris's, the Filipino guy. He trained with Bruce Lee. I forgot his name. DeSanto? Something DeSanto.
Danny Santo. I know Danny Santo.
Yeah.
I met him in Los Angeles.
Oh, you did, yeah?
Yeah, in the 80s also. See, all the people I know very well. Yeah.
Interesting one.
Yeah.
So with him, obviously, like a lot of guys look to him, look to Bruce Lee.
Yes.
And obviously there's an evolution that's happened. But I just want to get your perspective. What do you think? It's your opinion.
Yeah,
You know, like.
Well, my opinion.
Yeah.
MMA is a young sport.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not old.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
Do you want some more?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, yeah.
And like I said, to me, MMA is a sport.
Right.
Wing Chun is an art form. Okay? And MMA's got rules.
Yeah.
When I fight in a situation for real, there is no rules. And if you fight someone for real on the street or anywhere, in the office, in the bus stop, in the bar, anywhere, there's no rules.
Yeah.
That person can bite you, take your eyes out, go for your groin, pick a chair up, throw water in your face with a glass. There's no rules.
Yeah.
How are you going to overcome that? You understand that?
So what would you say the difference between a sport and an art is in your eyes? Like,
okay, art is more like covering everything. That's what you call art. Okay. An artist and a painter is not the same.
Right.
A barber and a stylish is not the same. Yeah. But to get to a stylish, you've got to be a barber.
Right.
You understand that? Yeah? You can't be a stylist just like that. You must have been a barber first before you get to a stylist.
Yeah.
So you see levels. So you see that's why you call it art. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why you got the art at the end of it, because it's an art form. It covers everything. A sport is made up for you to entertain yourself, enjoy yourself. So it can be a family thing, kids things, and things like that. Okay. So we call it a sport for entertainment.
So again, you might not know this, but I don't know. So with Bruce Lee, he had Jeet Kune Do.
Yes.
So I don't know what. Like I'm not, because Bruce Lee died before I was even born. Yeah. Yes, so I only got the. Yeah, so I was born I was born in 83. So by the time I was 10 years old, he was he became a legend, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
But you were around when he was, I guess.
When he was our part, you
would have been young, right?
I was young. Yeah, very young.
Yeah.
And I didn't get the martial art that
but
time
your instructors.
Okay, my instructor.
They would have been his peers, right? Almost. Or even.
In fact, Wong Shilong,
yeah.
Bruce Lee, Wong Shilong, who I learned from, is Bruce's teacher.
Right.
Okay. So
it'd be interesting. So what would they say about him? Like, did you ever have a speak about?
Everyone spoke about Bruce in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Bruce learned martial arts, some Wing Chun from Wong Shilong for about maybe 2 years.
Oh, Bruce Lee did.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. But he also for Yip Man. Yip Man is the main teacher.
Right.
Wong Shilong is a student of Yip Man.
Right.
So it's like me. I'm the teacher. I've got my student.
Yeah.
And you come to learn. The teacher's not teacher, the student will teach you.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yes? Yeah. And he watch over you, things like that. But at the same time, you will still say you learn from Yip Man, because that's his school.
I understand, yeah.
But you didn't learn, you might not learn directly from Yip Man. You might learn, he might show you some techniques, but most of the time it's his students teaching you.
Right.
So if I teach you directly, I teach directly. If I tell my students to teach you, he's teaching you directly.
Right, I got you.
But the information has come from me.
I understand.
You see? Yeah. So Bruce Lee learned Wing Chun for a short time.
Yeah.
Then he went to America, and he started to, what he tried to perform to other people. And they couldn't trouble him. What little that he had.
Yeah.
You know? So you meet people who don't know much, and you go over there, you got a lot.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah.
And after that,
you're not a civilian, innit?
Yeah,
anymore.
Yeah, you know what I mean no more. Yeah. So after that, Bruce Lee looked at philosophy, looked at other styles, and put his stuff together.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's many stories about BruceLee. They said that they didn't want to teach him no more because he started to teach in the West.
Yeah.
You can many stories. That's you know. So we made out.
But I'm like, what happened during this? So of course he created his own kind of art.
Jeet
Kune Do. Yeah. And I'm sure that would have rubbed people up the wrong way, you know, like, and because I know he got shunned.
Yes,
after a while,
Yes.
from once Yip Man died, because he was kind of protecting him a little bit.
Well, it's martial arts really in Hong Kong at that time, or in China, is politics, conservative. Right. All these martial art is a conservative style. So only rich people used to learn martial arts. Yes. Later on, Yip Man, also conservative, really rich.
No way.
He's a conservative person, conservative. So it's a conservative style. It's like you go to elite school, and you can't
it's
get
like
in
polo or the rich people sport, like lacrosse and all those stuff. Okay.
So this style was quite famous, but not everybody can learn it. Okay. Then later on, Yip Man moved from China to Hong Kong, and obviously he lost all his wealth. Then he started to teach martial arts.
Yip Man also.
Yes. Right. Because he was communist in China at that time. So he left China, went to Hong Kong.
Right.
So when you watch the Yip Man films, that's not authentic. They're right. This is entertainment. You have to know the history of China at that time. So, and Bruce Lee, at the same time, was in Hong Kong, learned from...
That's where you learned Wing Chun, when Yip Man came over to Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
Right, okay.
And after, Bruce was a naughty boy, but his family was quite wealthy, and they moved him to America.
Right. And that's when the story started.
That's where the story starts. He started to teach other foreigners, like famous film stars and things like that. So you have to give Bruce Lee the credibility, the recognition for bringing the martial arts to the West. Yeah. Give him that,
100%.
100% give him that.
He made it marketable.
And
he was the first guy that wasn't a caricature of what a Chinese person would be. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like he was, because Chinese people in movies at the time were not heroes. They were like side characters. You know what I'm saying?
No, you have famous Chinese. Wong Fei Hong is a famous Chinese martial artist. Yeah, many. But now you're doing it only with West now.
Yeah, I'm talking about Western films. So the Chinese people in Western films are always the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
There was that famous film called The Dragon. I don't know if you've seen it.
The black guy. The black guy, an actor.
No, it's the story about Bruce Lee.
Oh, The Dragon, yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember the film.
Mid-90s it was.
Yes.
And there's a famous scene in there where he's in the cinema and he gets up really angry because of the film he was watching. Had a really bad racist caricature of Chinese people. And he that's when he kind of wanted to kind of change that
because obviously
narrative,
So Bruce Lee, I'll give Bruce Lee recognition, because he changed a lot of things. Yeah. And it also made people see martial arts, open their eyes and things like that. And now you see why other styles evolves by other martial artists, So like jiu-jitsu, lots of people practice jiu-jitsu now. We can't say jiu-jitsu is good or bad. Yeah. It depends, everybody go what they want to practice.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's it really.
So you got the traditional martial arts, like obviously you got Wing Chun, you got karate, which kind of the Japanese style. You have judo, I would call it traditional, which is more modern judo, and there's different styles in it.
Different styles.
But what else? You've got Shaolin. I remember I saw.
Okay, Shaolin, Jet Li.
Yeah, Jet Li style. Yeah. So what's that like today?
The martial arts today?
Yeah. So like, obviously I don't know if you know, but me and a friend of mine, even him around here, we've got a gym that we run in Louison. So we do jiu-jitsu and wrestling.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? And wrestling, I would call it an ancient art.
Yes.
Even though it's like really old, like thousands of years old. Yeah. Yes. But obviously it's evolved over time. Yeah. You got Greco-Roman wrestling, jiu-jitsu kind of came from judo,
yes.
The Nuwaza style, and we know the story that got to that point. But then you have Kung Fu, which had its heyday. Like if you think even up to like late 90s, man, like I would say early 2000s, where Kung Fu was actually spoken about quite a bit.
Yes,
but not as much now. No. And how's that been affected your world, and how is it?
It doesn't really affect my world as such because the media controls everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Long time ago, there was no TV. So people learn things by the hearsay and meant they're going to learn something. Oh, they would say, that guy over there does martial arts.
Yeah.
Or that guy over there does martial arts. Now, it's on the internet everywhere, all them kind of martial arts. So who controls the media controls everything.
That's right.
Okay, I don't care what style it is. If I want to put if I control the media,
and I got enough money to pump into it,
and I want to pump in only that style,
yeah,
that's gonna be famous.
yeah.
Don't care how you look at it. Don't care if it's bad or good. That will be famous.
I'll tell you one thing that's really suffered though. Films. Don't you think?
Yeah, film.
Like right now, like they don't make films like. I know I sound like we sound like a bunch of old heads or whatever. Yeah, but I really true. Martial arts now in films is nothing like what it was like.
No, not at all.
70s, 80s, and I would say even 90s.
Yeah.
You know, like it's lost that kind of.
Well,
name me one film now that you can watch that's a proper martial arts film.
Yes.
You got John Wick, which is
it's all guns and some.
But it's a
martial
lot of story.
A lot of story.
Too much story. Too much. But really, like the. Like kickboxer, you got Legend of Fung Sayuk with Jet Li. Yeah, you've got all those really good, you know, which are demonstrating martial arts. You know, we've kind of lost all that now. It's become this.
It's not that it's been lost. It's just been. You must understand. You go by the marketing. You go by what you see on TV. You go with what you see on your phone, and you start to. If I'm gonna catch you, I can catch you. Yeah. So at the time, maybe 7 years, 8 years, jiu-jitsu, a lot.
Yeah.
On the TV, jiu-jitsu, MMA, jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So if I give that all the time and you don't see nothing else, what are you going to learn?
Yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah?
100%.
Yeah, and that's what happens. So if you've got little schools, Wing Chun school now and then, but it's not being promoted, you won't see them.
Yeah,
you only hear them by word of mouth, you know?
I have seen some... was it John Jones that uses like even Tony Ferguson as well? There's some MMA fighters who train, who are like for example, do you know they call it oblique kick? Have you? Do you guys do that in Wing Chun?
It's like
a kick to the. I've seen it done. I don't know if it's Wing Chun or not.
It's also Wing Chun kick like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. So he's got it from there, and he uses it very effectively in MMA. Does that make sense? So there's a thing. It kind of goes round, doesn't it? So it kind of goes out of fashion and comes back in again. And I'm pretty sure people are going to be looking at an edge, right, to kind of use, you know, certain.
The kick is Wing Chun kick. Yeah. When you kick someone, you kick the joint. What for? To break it. Yeah. Not to touch it, to break it. Now imagine you do a sport, and they told you don't kick too hard, like you can break the leg. Yeah, there's no show no more. It's finished in a couple of seconds. They won't make the money. They said this is finished too quickly. No, so certain things you cannot do. Because it finished too quick.
I'm pretty sure have they made it illegal yet? The oblique kick. I don't think they have.
No,
but he's damaged a few people's knees with that, man.
Yes,
I know, like
until you damage a lot of people,
when you kick the knees this way, it goes like it's.
So until you damage a lot of people,
then
they're gonna stop it.
That's right.
Yeah, because the fight is still going for a long time. Yeah, it's like when you fight like Tyson at his prime. Yeah, his fight lasted about 2 minutes. Yeah. You pay all that money. And you say So everyone said, "Whoa, I'm not paying all that money. I wait to come on TV and watch it." And
exactly.
Like that. People change it because it depends what they're looking for in life.
That's true.
So that's why you said that the martial art today, is a lot of jiu-jitsu. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And you tell them people other styles, they say, no, jiu-jitsu. So we said, okay, you like that. You know, I don't get in politics or martial arts. I say what you like, do it.
But I'm guessing you've got your students and there are enthusiasts that come. I'm sure you get kept busy teaching.
I kept busy teaching because people must still want to learn and they know Wing Chun and they understand Wing Chun. They know what Wing Chun can do. Yeah. But you might go on YouTube and you say Wing Chun having a bad time. Yeah. Everyone's beating up Wing Chun people. Yeah. Yeah. And you say, then you might say that's still no good. Yeah. No, because because they have changed it into a sport. Yeah. And they haven't learned to fight, adapt that way. That's where they're losing. So
can I ask to kind of just shift the conversation a little bit about, so we know the forms, we know, like the whole thing about building the martial art around the student, getting them kind of, what about competing?
Okay.
Or I would say maybe sparring or that's putting those techniques into like a live situation. Okay. How does that work with
that? Will work with a spar. You learn to spar, but you can only spar if you've got techniques. Right. If you don't know ammunition, you will never fight. Yeah. And then we're going to say to you that you don't do sport-wise or competition because you will change a different mindset to win at any cost. you're not going to go to study no more. You're going to go to win at any cost.
Yeah.
The way I teach martial arts is meant to understand your martial arts, understand your opponent, and you work together.
Yeah.
Your classmate is not your enemy.
Yes.
So if you go to learn martial art, example, a guy goes to learn martial art in the school. He goes to his father, I want to learn martial arts. His father sent him to a martial arts school. He comes back home with a black eye and busts his face, something like that. That doesn't make sense. You went to learn martial art to learn so people can take you outside the martial art gym and you can defend yourself. But now you're going to a martial art gym to fight.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You see? So therefore, you have gone in competition mode.
Yeah.
So what I do, I said, no. You have to have good character. You don't be a bully. You don't try to hit someone who don't know nothing.
Yeah.
So you're literally going there to practice your art form. Well, we put it close to reality as possible. And we will say to you, okay, someone's going to punch you or kick you or elbow you. Let's see what you can do with control. And the person is fighting, you've got control. Because he learned martial arts for control.
Yeah.
Meaning that he can hit you when he wants to hit you. That is a high level.
Yeah.
Yeah. He can defend and hit you when he wants to. That's a high level.
Yeah.
He's got a choice now because he's got a high level. No suicide movements. Not hope for the best and get one in and you get one and you hit me back. Example, say you want to swap hits by fist.
Yeah.
Imagine someone's got a knife now. You punch me, I stab you.
Yeah.
That is still swapping hits, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the difference is what? You're getting stabbed.
Yeah.
Obviously. So that's why we say to learn martial art for self-defense, defend yourself. So the way I will teach, completely different. It's for people to practice their self-defense with each other and practice. And they might say, oh, guess what? It's not real enough. Why? You need to hit me. So therefore, you need pain to recognize what's right and wrong. Yeah? If I touch you with a soft palm and I didn't hurt you, it's up to you to say to yourself, man, he touched me. But if you need pain, what we do, we hit you harder. You need pain to recognize you've been hit, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. There you see the difference now. But if you hit me with control, I go good. Nice hit, good hit. And we're practicing. Imagine it was real now. I'd be on the floor, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
So
there's no longevity in the training.
That's it. And no one would practice with you no more, would they? Because obviously every time I come to practice in my class, I'm getting hurt. Why do I go to school to get hurt?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
100%.
But you have got into competition mode, don't you? Yeah, you see it differently. So you have to go with the right mindset to learn. So I don't teach people anybody. I teach people by what? Character. So
I think that's what's missing as well now with
I teach by character.
With martial arts in the sense of sometimes it loses that. That's what martial arts at its core is tarbiyah, isn't it?
Yes.
Good manners.
Good manners.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then everything comes from that.
Oh, okay. Now you understand.
Otherwise you're breeding bullies and people are going out and causing mischief, innit? And that's what you don't want.
That's what
I feel like that's what I would say MMA's done.
Yes.
MMA's done it. Like, and I'm not going to blame MMA in its entirety,
no.
But you have some schools that have really bad vibe to it, and people getting concussed, people getting hurt, people, especially in the early days of MMA, because there was all the bouncers and the guys that are minding doors, and those are the guys that would train MMA and and they might have a different intention when they go.
Well, they will have to have a different intention because they're dealing with people on the outside.
That's it, exactly, yeah.
But you brought the outside into your gym. So now your gym there, everybody's the enemy. Yeah, and you're breaking people's arms, something like that. Afterward, people don't want to practice no more, do they? You see? It all changes. So after a while, people want to practice the right way and don't get hurt. That's why we call it self-defense.
So I want to talk about your move to St Lucia because that's very interesting. Why did you decide to move?
Well, I've been going to St Lucia at a very young age, back and forth. Got family there, and I always said to myself, one day, in my lifetime, I will go back to live. It's hot, it's nice and relaxing, anything like that. So I got one child. So he's a big boy now.
Inshallah.
So therefore, now I can travel with ease and no problems. So I ain't got no commitments, nothing like that. So I can go back to St Lucia now. And also at that time, when I was teaching my guys, I've been teaching for a very long time.
Yeah.
So I told my guys, look, my parents are getting old now. Anything happens to them, I'll go back to St Lucia. So I'm here, and nothing happens to them, learn as much as possible from me.
Yeah.
Yes? Or you have to come and see me in St Lucia.
I'm sure they won't mind, man.
Yeah, won't mind. Some of them have been sent to before.
Okay.
Yeah, until we done some, they come to see me and we practice and things like that. But now my father passed away a year and a half ago.
No.
So now my mum's there by herself. We've got other families, but
have you got brothers and sisters?
I've got brothers and sisters here. I've got 2 sisters here, and 2 brothers here, and 1 brother lives in St Lucia.
Right.
But now my mum, she was obviously, my mum went back to St Lucia 40 years ago with my father.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So she left us. We're grown up now.
Yeah,
so
of course.
But I said to myself, as a Muslim, how we know we have to look after our parents.
Of course. Yeah.
I said anything happens to my mum, I'll make sure I'm there.
You look
after her.
Yeah,
and that's the time now. So I'm there to make sure she's okay.
Alhamdulillah.
And that's it, really.
Good. I mean, talking about, were you born Muslim or did you?
No, I wasn't. I revert.
Okay, so what came first, Kung Fu or Islam? Or was it at the same time?
Kung Fu.
Kung Fu came first?
Kung Fu came first before I was a Muslim.
Right. Okay.
A long time before I was Muslim.
Right.
It's really funny. One of my friends, a good friend of mine, he's a Muslim.
Yeah.
And he was my student.
Right.
His name is Euphus. And he lives in Chicago, in America.
Okay, right.
And when I used to teach him, and I teach him techniques, things like that, and we talk about philosophy and things like that, he used to tell me about Islam.
Yeah.
The Islam, this, that.
Now, how long ago was this?
This is about, at least about 14 years ago. I've been a Muslim now about at least 14, 15.
So
2006 or something like that, 2006, become a Muslim. Yeah. And he started to talk to me about Islam, But I heard about Islam before that, when I was very young. When I was about probably 18, I saw someone tell me about some religion. I don't know what it was, but it sounded good. But I just went, you're young.
Yeah.
I just passed it. And I saw something on TV and everything which intrigued me, what I found really impressive. I saw a back box. I didn't know what it was, and I see a lot of people going around it.
Yeah.
And what I loved about it, main nationality was there. You see, so look at that beautiful nationality. I had no idea what it was. Yeah. Then later on, after 10 or 15 years, my friend talking about Islam, talking about the Prophet, peace be upon him. And then I started to read about Islam for about a year. I wasn't going to become Muslim straight away.
Of course, yeah.
I read about it, and I said, "This is the same thing. What I think, how character, how you should practice, how you should work together, manners, tabia, things like that." I said, "This is beautiful." Then I said to myself, "Man, I've done everything in life so far. I travelled at a very young age. I've done workshops with my teachers at about 20, even 27." I went to America. I went to Italy to assist my teacher. I went to all these different cultures, And when I started to read about Islam, I said, "This is intriguing. This is very, very nice."
Have you ever met, obviously, apart from your student?
Yes.
Were you ever around Muslims at all?
No, not at all.
Even when you travelled?
Even travelled.
Right. So you more Western countries.
More Western countries. Even when I went to Hong Kong, there was no Islamic there at that time. 40 years ago, no mosque. Now Islam. Now in Hong Kong, it's the biggest mosque in South Asia.
Oh, no way.
In Hong Kong.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Even now, I went to other places before. There was no Muslims there. But when I spoke to my friend, and he told me about Islam, and then I start recognizing Muslims in London.
See everywhere now.
See everywhere now. I start recognizing them.
That's great, because you're from South East London. That's like literally, it's practically Egypt, bro.
Yeah, but don't forget.
But I guess it depends the circles you. So
that's right.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
so
that's it.
It's funny because you might be living a parallel life.
Yeah.
There's a whole different other, group of people that you've never crossed paths with. That is crazy, man.
So afterwards, when I started to read about Islam, and he introduced me to a lot of brothers, and he also introduced me Imam Shakil.
Oh, mashallah.
And,
a legend, man.
Yeah, he's a legend. Everyone knows Imam Shakil.
Yeah.
Beautiful brother, So he introduced me to him, and then.
So were you married at the time, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I wasn't married at the time.
Okay.
I wasn't married at the time. I was a Muslim now, and then I became a Muslim. And start to do research, things like that. And then obviously my lifestyle was different.
Yeah.
So when then I took my Shahada. After a year of reading about, I read 40 hadiths, I read the Quran, I read all these things. And because I come from a martial art background, when we learn to implement it. Yeah?
Yeah.
So when I read the book and all about the Prophet, peace upon him, invitation to implement something was very important. So you learn something and you have to implement it.
Yeah.
So that was really important for me. So then you say it's a way of life. Same thing. So that's what I enjoyed about it. I loved it completely. And I said to myself, I'm become a Muslim. And then when I become a Muslim, certain things I've got to stop doing. You'd be tested. And then I had
where was your family? How did your family react to it?
My family was okay because my family are Christians.
Yeah.
And they're not strong Christians. Like in the Caribbean, all the families are Christians.
Yes.
But their kids also not really Christian, but they call themselves Christian because when we was young, we go to church or Sunday school.
What denomination normally?
Roman Catholic.
Okay,
Yeah,
so St Lucia's are Roman Catholic.
Roman Catholic, yeah.
Oh,
Strong Roman
Catholic. That's strange, man, for Caribbean because Jamaica's more kind of Protestant, right?
Yeah.
And the other Caribbean islands, but St. Lucia, I didn't realize you were Roman Catholic.
Roman Catholic.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they got some others.
Yeah.
Strongly
But that's
Catholic.
mostly Roman Catholic. Right.
Yeah. Don't forget British colony. So
okay.
So so at that time we used to go to Sunday school, not even Sunday school, Sunday mass.
Yeah.
And you would play as a kids with other kids and like that. Just put us somewhere really, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then we come home and later on.
And the religion stops basically.
Yeah, religion stopped
outside the church.
Yeah, outside the church. There's nothing really. We didn't know. We knew there was a God, and that's it. And but when I started to read about Islam, completely different, And then I started to say, come a Muslim. Quite happy. And then when I took my Shahada, really nice, like a relief.
How did it feel?
It feels okay. Such a relief. You can only experience it when you're not a Muslim and become a Muslim, and he will know the feeling.
Right.
It's like when I went to Hajj.
Mashallah.
After becoming a Muslim, after 4 years, I went to Hajj. Now, when I went to Hajj, that's a different experience again. You can't explain it unless you've been Hajj.
Yes, of course.
So that was a good experience. And that time got married. Because before I had a girlfriend, I had let her go because obviously Islam don't let her girlfriend.
Of course, yeah.
So I stopped drinking. I had a lot of music records. Got rid of all of them. Yeah. I had a beard, didn't I? I got a beard, So a beard was not a problem to me at all.
Yeah.
And then they said to me, "Oh, you got to pray and things like that." Fajr was no problem to me at all. All the prayer was no problem. Why? I'm conditioned to learn to study and things like that. No problem. And also, I also worked with my father at a very young age, about 16, and he used to get really early in the morning, 6 o'clock, to go to work. Start work at 8 o'clock. So when I started to become Muslim and say Fajr, I'm so used to get up early in the morning anyway.
Yeah.
And we know we will all have trouble with Fajr period.
Yes, of course.
Okay? So afterwards, got married, and that was good. Married for about 10 years. Then I got divorced, but it's good, not a bad divorce because everything I did, and I have no regrets.
Right, alhamdulillah.
You learn from it, and also when you get married, if you get married, when you get divorced in a nice way.
Yeah.
So even my divorce was beautiful. We good friends and left in a good way. That's it. So yes, and that's what it is now. So I'm a single, thing like that, and I had to take things with one step at a time.
Alhamdulillah.
And that's
you seem very relaxed and a chilled out guy, mashallah.
Yes. I don't get no negative interfere with me.
Alhamdulillah.
So when I get something negative, I deal with it really quickly. Yeah. So and that's my lifestyle from when I'm very young. And you learn martial arts, you learn to counter and learn to overcome something. So my mind is trained that way already.
So we spoke a lot about martial arts. Has that been the main way you've made money and fed yourself this whole, or did you do things outside of martial arts?
Okay, before
like a career-wise.
Yeah, I had a career-wise. So I used to work for a company, and I worked in the hotels. All the rooms?
Yeah.
I used to decorate all the hotels.
Okay.
Hiltons, all the well-known hotels in the West End. I used to work for 10 years for a company.
Right.
And that time, then I came, when I was a Muslim now, I came Muslim later on. And I had a good boss. My boss would let me pray. My pastor let me do everything like that. Then my boss left to go to Australia, so he sold the company to someone else. When he sold the company to someone else, it changed completely.
Right.
And then the people who own the company now, they should say to me, Mr. Louison, you going to do the room, something like that. You might meet some of the kids, something like that. You got a beard. So he said, you might have to show your beard. So I said to him, what do I need to show my beard for? I said, the guests coming in the hotel also got beards. Yeah. So are you going to tell them to shave their beards before too?
Yeah.
So they come in the hotel and stay in the hotel. So they shut up, So I said, no. This is I had to keep my beard. And then they said to me, it's always popping up to pray. We have to pray,
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, I'll pray. Then my prayer is about 5 minutes, 4 minutes. These guys have coffee breaks.
And cigarette breaks, yeah, exactly.
Every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And they're smoking and everything like that. So what's the complaint? What's the problem? So you realise that they couldn't catch me on that now. Next thing, they try and get rid of me. They send me to, before I was working in the West End, so I get to work on time. Then they start to work out of London.
Right.
So then I had to go extra earlier to go work out of London.
So they did it on purpose?
Yes, on purpose.
Wow.
Yeah, So I said to myself, man, these people. I said, no, don't worry. So afterwards, going back and forwards was too strenuous for me because coming back, and at the same time, when I was working at the company, I was teaching. Yeah. At the same time, I was doing filming, extras on TV.
Right.
Yeah. And afterwards, stopped doing filming, still working. And afterwards, I stopped. And I said, I'm going to give my notice. And from there, alhamdulillah, all praise to Allah, He made it easy for me. I've been teaching all the way through.
Alhamdulillah.
No problems at all.
That's when you leave something for the sake of Allah, Allah replace it with something better. Even better, yeah.
Yes. So alhamdulillah, it was really so. I have no problems at all.
Alhamdulillah.
Even my son asked me a question the other day. He said, Dad, have you had it hard? I went, no. In fact, from school to college. I went to college very young. I went to evening classes. Then I went to college. Yeah. Just to get the house, really. And we have our parents be like, just get the house. So I went to evening classes specific to get the house. You'd be doing dishes, you'd be doing that. Your mum would say that. So I did to
please your parents, basically.
To get the house.
All right.
Yeah, I had brothers and sisters. And every time we come home from school, my mum was always saying something or say, do this, do that. So I said to myself, man, God, my mum is on your back. So I said to myself, go evening classes. So I went evening classes. And after evening classes, I went to went for interview with a company about 17. They said you can start straight away. Then I had apprenticeship. Yeah. And then from there, worked for there 15 years with them. And then at the same time, I also doing martial arts. So alhamdulillah, and then now I'm still teaching. I also do team building, teach people how to work together. Yeah. In corporate companies in West End. Yeah. But the last 2 years, everything shut down because of COVID. Yeah. And that's it really.
So that's when you decided to move to St Lucia?
Well, I moved to St Lucia because my father did pass away. That was it really. Right. And then my mum by herself now, so I went there Pacific too. But I already set up everything ready. I bought a house, the house already, convert the house downstairs into an apartment.
Okay, mashallah.
So I got rid of my house over here, and then put money in St Lucia.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah,
So took, and we'll finish on this, inshallah. Yeah. So talk me through the island life, man. What's that like? How do you spend your days?
The island life's a bit slow. Only thing I miss about when I got to St Lucia is my brothers. Right. Yeah, my brothers, and we go out, we talk. Yeah. And they got Islamic there, but it's small. Right. St Lucia is only about 180,000 people. It's small.
Wow.
Yeah. And the Muslims, not really a big community of Muslims.
What about where you live? Is there any?
No, there's almost. I live in the central part of Castries, which is the central part of St Lucia. And their brothers and sisters there, but mostly probably about 100, 120 Muslims there.
Whoa, is that it?
That's it. That we get Roman
halal food and
alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, they got halal. They got halal.
They do,
food now.
yeah?
Yeah, the brother will slaughter the meat.
Yeah.
Work for a company, slaughter meat, and he goes to some of the shops.
Right.
So the last 5 years, it's changed. You can get halal meat and things like that.
Alhamdulillah.
Before that, they couldn't get no halal meat. We just eat fish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah,
man.
we just eat fish. You know?
But I know the Caribbeans a lot. I know, like,
Don't make it in Trinidad.
they eat halal, man.
Yeah, but if you go to Trinidad's got more Muslims
Yes.
than St Lucia.
Right.
You know, so and also Barbados.
Yeah.
So right now, Islam is getting better. Is growing in St Lucia. I do a dawah table there once a week to spread Islam to the best of my ability. Trying to encourage brothers to do the same thing, and that's it really.
And what's their attitude towards Muslims?
The attitude in the Caribbean is okay. They're not really. If someone says something, they get it from the media, and that's it really.
Right. But I'm talking about the people that
lives there.
Yeah. So the civilians.
They're okay. You might get one or two. Might say something.
Yeah.
It's all called Bin Laden or things like that. You know, they might. One time, a guy asked me, Muslims are terrorists. I said, where are the Muslim terrorists? I said, you've got more terrorists in your country right now. I said, tell me something. Who's doing the crimes in St Lucia now? The Muslims or the young St Lucians?
Yeah.
They went, oh yeah, you're right. The Muslims don't do nothing in St Lucia. They keep a nice, respectful life. So, but people get things from the media. So you got to correct them. It's not their fault. You have to correct them. So as Muslims.
But also the biggest terrorists that brought the Africans to the Caribbean as well.
Yeah, Europeans. Yes. yes.
The ones that are.
Yes.
But we get kind of like caught up in this kind of semantics, man.
Yes. But the bottom line afterwards.
But education is important.
Education is important. And also, as Muslim, we try to educate people.
Of course.
Give them dawah.
Yeah.
We try to bring them to Islam to best our abilities. Yeah. And that's it. We can live with them. And certainly we won't do. Most of my families, when I go see my families, sometimes they want to hug me. I say, I can't really hug you. They said, and I explained to them, said, oh. So I said to them, I said to my friend, okay, you're Christian. We want every man to hug your wife. He said, no.
There you go.
No. But he can't say nothing because you open the door.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So you say, yeah. Do you like your wife to dress provocative?
Yeah.
You say, no, I want my dress to dress decent, modesty. But you met her that way, innit?
Yeah,
so you can't change her, can you?
This is it.
So as a Muslim woman, we address modesty. So that's what you get. So now you see, it's quite simple what you want out of life, and that's it really.
Alhamdulillah. So let's end on that, inshallah, man.
Yeah.
I really benefit from this conversation, and I'm hoping to get. You said to me before we end, you said don't call me Sifu.
Okay.
And you said you were going to explain to me why.
Okay.
So that
Well, most of my students call me Daigo, means big brother.
Right.
When you put classes as civil, you're coaching yourself like you really got to look after that person like a father. You're a father figure. Yeah. So I'm not a father figure. I'm a person who's got some knowledge, information to help you and make you better.
So you're saying it comes with responsibility.
That's it. Right. Yes. Okay. So when I learn from teachers, and I call them civil because they are civil, they got that title.
Yeah. But
I don't give myself that title because I don't know too much.
Right, I understand.
So I call myself Daigo, means that older brother. Yeah. So but some people say to me civil Louison for respect. I say okay. Yeah. But my students will call me Daigo. Right. But outside people will call me civil. Right. You see? And that's why, and that's what it is really. So I don't want to get lost in the name. And get big-headed and get arrogant and things like that. So as Muslims, we try to lower ourselves down and be humble. Alhamdulillah. And that's the most important thing to me. So I'm just someone with got information, and you can benefit from it. Alhamdulillah. You see? That's it. Quite simple.
Barakallahu fiqh, Brother Usamah. And hopefully we can get Brother
Abdul Malik.
Abdul Malik.
Yeah, Abdul Malik. Really good brother too.
I really want to get. We've been trying to get him on for about a year now, isn't it? But I know he's very busy. Yeah. But inshallah, we'll get him. We'll sit him down.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Have you trained with him at all? Or?
No. My Wing Chun, different teachers.
Oh, different teachers.
My Wing Chun is completely different.
Right. Okay.
Abdul Malik, mashallah, is good. He's been doing Wing Chun the same time. Well, not too sure longer than me. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But he's been around in the 90s or early 90s. I know some of his teachers he learned from over here.
Sure.
He's also gone to Hong Kong and learned in Hong Kong, Yip Man Sons, you know. But I always tell people, they ask me, what's the best Wing Chun teacher? I say, don't look for yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
All teachers are different. So you might have Wing Chun, but doesn't mean your Wing Chun is the same as mine.
Yeah.
You know, like Jiu-Jitsu, you might have a standard way of doing Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah. Okay, example, Jiu-Jitsu. I know you're gonna be in the gym and got mats.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Jiu-Jitsu practice Jiu-Jitsu on concrete?
No.
Have you ever seen Jiu-Jitsu practice Jiu-Jitsu on wooden floor?
No.
There you see. Yeah. I know how Jiu-Jitsu practice.
Yeah.
Now Wing Chun, you've got different ways of Wing Chun. Some people incorporate kickboxing, boxing, grappling and things like that.
Right.
I don't do that. I do pure Wing Chun.
Right, I got you.
That's the difference. So some people might say, oh, your Wing Chun's the same. No, our Wing Chun's not the same because I don't do boxing, I don't do this, I do pure Wing Chun.
It's traditional
Wing Chun. And that's the difference.
Barakallahu feek, Usamah. And everyone at home, I hope you enjoyed it like I did. And inshallah, we'll see you on the next one.